At this point, we are continuously reporting also when it comes to the anti-terror operation that is being conducted by the armed forces in Poonch district of Jammu and Kashmir, and the operation that had started yesterday, and a junior commissioned officer and one Jawan are said to be seriously injured in the crossfire. The encounter that is resumed after 4 days when 5 of our brave hearts were martyred in Poonch, and we are looking at the entire area for now that has been cordoned off, and the traffic there that has also been stopped. Straight away going across to Gursimran now. Gursimran, what are we hearing latest from the army side?
See, Indian Army has issued a statement in which they have said that 2 more Jawans of the Indian Army, they have succumbed to the injuries. They were critically injured yesterday when terrorists opened fire at them, and they have been identified as Rifleman Vikram Singh Negi and Rifleman Yogambar Singh. Right now we are in the Bhimber Gali area, and you can see the traffic movement to the encounter site has totally been blocked. The Special Operations Group of Jammu and Kashmir Police has been deployed. This area is somewhat 3 to 4 kilometers from the encounter site. But the traffic has been stopped, and the statement that has been issued by the Indian Army reads that in a counter-terror operation by the Army, which is in progress in the Narkhas forest of Martyred district, Poonch, since yesterday evening. During the operation, there was a heavy exchange of fire, and in the ensuing gunfight, Rifleman Vikram Singh Negi and Rifleman Yogambar Singh were critically injured, and later both of them succumbed to the injuries. This is really very important.
Major General G.D. Bakshi sir is also with us on the phone line. Sir, unfortunate news that we are getting to know when it comes to the army statement that has also come across, saying that 2 of our Jawans, more Jawans who have been martyred because of the crossfire and the encounter that's been happening there, sir.
This is indeed sad news. We lost 5, that was quite a shock. Now we've lost 2 more. What I am happy about is the exchange rate. That I think needs to be looked into. And I'm sure the local authorities will take the requisite steps to see that, the boys don't get a bit, sometimes they get into josh and they just rush. And in that rushing, or that hurry, we get unnecessary casualties. So we have to be calm and cool about it. And once the people are surrounded and fixed, the enemy, the terrorists, then we should go about methodically in the search, try and reduce our casualties, and try and inflict maximum casualties on the terrorists. I'm sure it will be done. We have very good self-correction mechanisms, and the boys are full of josh. They're going all out. And in that, well, casualties do happen at times. They are part of life. They are part of the threat that we operate under. But
absolutely, sir, because this is exemplary courage that has been shown on part of our brave Jawans. There's 2 of them, unfortunately, we're getting to know, have been martyred in this anti-terror operations there. G.D. Bakshi sir, thank you very much for joining us at this point. Gursimran, back to you with the live updates, because this operation that has been happening now for a long time, and you were mentioning about how the entire traffic there has also been halted. No civilian movement around.
Yes, no civilian movement around, because this area leads to the encounter site, and that's why Jammu and Kashmir Police has put out these barricades. The special operation groups of Jammu and Kashmir Police, they too have been deployed here, so that to make sure that there is no movement beyond this point except those of the security officials. And this is a big setback to the Indian Army, because today also we lost 2 Jawans. 5 days back we lost 5 of our brave hearts, and in this operation only 7 of our brave hearts, which include 1 JCO rank official and 6 Jawans, they have lost their life. And this is something, this operation has become a really challenging, because the terrorists are continuously changing their location. The operation started in the DKG Dera Ki Gali area of Poonch district, then it shifted to Bangai area of Rajouri, and now it is happening in the Martyred forest, which is Narkhas forest in the Poonch district. So the challenge with the security forces still is that to neutralize these terrorists, because the extent of damage they have done to the Indian Army is really very big, and that's why a multi-layer cordon has been established here. We are at a place which is 3 kilometers from the encounter site at least, and even from here there has been a security beef up, keeping in view the intensity and all the secure traffic that has completely been halted. Because I'll ask Gaurav to show you somewhat the terrain of this area. You can see this is a tough terrain for the security forces, as all the uphills are totally covered with the thick vegetation, and that is what the advantage is for the terrorists, that they are hiding in that kind of forest area, thick forest vegetation, and they are using it as a cover against the security forces. The casualty we have suffered have come only due to the dense forest, that is, they are taking cover of this, and when security forces reach that very place, they open fire, indiscriminate fire on the security forces. But now top officials of the Jammu and Kashmir police, including the DIG of the range, Rajouri Poonch range, is himself on the spot. Even the top officials of the Indian Army, they are also monitoring the situation. Choppers have once again been pressed into the service so as to zero in those terrorists and neutralize them as soon as possible, because it is taking time, and the time is making it difficult for the Indian Army, because after 5:36 there is no possibility of carrying out operation, and yesterday at that very time the casualties happened. So Indian Army and Jammu and Kashmir police is making each and everything into note, and that's why they are trying to intensify the operation and to conclude it before the day ends. Yes.
And also, Gursimran, what we are getting to know that choppers have now been pushed into service there, and it only remains to be seen, because this operation has resumed after a few days now, and the terrorist teams are already very heavily armed and very trained in a warlike manner as they are continuing with those terror operations against the forces there.
See, this is one of the largest running operation I have seen in last almost 5 to 7 years, because in Jammu region we hardly see these kind of operations. The operations here only last for hours or for a day at max, but this operation has ended into the 5th day, and there is no clue about the terrorists. The terrorists are continuously changing their location. We spoke to some of the senior officials of the Jammu and Kashmir police, and they said that this is possibly a new infiltration, a terrorist that has entered into the Indian territory. The group of terrorists or the terrorist that is inside, he is a young one who has been trained from across the border, trained and heavily armored by the Pakistani side, so that he can vitiate the peace process. He can also do bloodbath on the directions of Pakistan, and what exactly he is doing here. But yes, the priority remains, the paramount importance is to neutralize the group of terrorists or the terrorists that is inside this, because the damage that has been done is really massive. 7 brave hearts of the Indian Army, they have lost their life, and the terrorist is continuously changing its location. There is a multi-layered cordon, because we are 3 kilometers from the encounter site, and the need that has arisen to carry out the cordon in this area is to ensure that the terrorists don't come out of this 3-kilometer circle, because if they manage to, they will enter a civilian area, the residential area, and that will pose a serious concern for the forces, because once they enter the civilian area, it will be like a hostage situation. We have seen that happening in the Riyasi district of Jammu some couple of years back, and police don't want that situation to be repeated here, and that's why this multi-layer cordon has been established.
Absolutely. Two of our brave hearts, Rifleman Vikram Singh Negi and Rifleman Yugamvar Singh, who were earlier critically injured and unfortunately have succumbed to their injuries. But Gursimran, if you are also reporting that from the area, we're looking in the last few days how several anti-terror operations that have been killed. We are looking at how many A-category terrorists too that have been successfully neutralized by our forces. But on the other side, this is one of the other longest running anti-terror encounter or this operation that has been taking place in Poonch.
See, in last 7 days, Indian Army has carried out 7 operations along with Jammu and Kashmir police, including this operation. Rest of the 6 operations were of a paramount success for the forces, as they managed to neutralize 9 terrorists, out of which 4 were from Lashkar-e-Toiba and the TRF, which is an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Toiba. 3 were from the Hizbul Mujahideen and 2 were from the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Of these 9, 2 were the A category terrorists. That is, they were of the top terror commanders in the region. civilian. One was Shamsuddin that was gunned down in the Tral area, and other was another Hizbul Mujahideen top terrorist that was gunned down by the security forces in Anantnag. That was a big success for the forces. Of the 7 operations, 6 operations were big success as they were in Valley and forces were having an upper hand. But this operation that is taking place in Poonch, this is somewhat a serious concern for the forces because top officials are camping on ground. The terrorists are continuously changing their location, and that's why the police and the army wants this operation to be concluded as soon as possible. They want to neutralize the terrorists on priority because these terrorists, they are really making it difficult for the forces, and they are taking the help of the thick advantage. Because I'll request Gaurav to show you this vegetation only. This is the general area perception, and if you can go by this, you hardly see if anyone is taking shelter of these forests, these trees and this thick vegetation. And that is why this terrorist has gained advantage that they are firing on the security forces, taking the cover of these forests, and the casualties on the troops, the martyrdom that has happened to our sources, to our soldiers on the ground, is due to this only, that the terrorist is taking cover as they are highly trained. They can hold up to a single position for hours and hours, and when security forces reaches that very place, they suddenly open fire at them. So this is a challenging operation, no doubt, but yes, the forces will make it sure that the terrorist is neutralized and there is no threat to the civilian population. Yes.
Absolutely, Gursimran, because this Poonch encounter that has been ongoing and even when the Indian Army's earlier statement that had said that this operation that was launched after inputs of terrorist infiltration that was received and additional enforcements that were rushed to the spot to ensure that no further injuries happen and they are successful in neutralizing those terrorists. But as Gursimran is pointing out, taking advantage of those dense forests in the Dera Ki Gali area where these terrorists opened fire at the Indian Army, and this encounter is still set to be underway because, Gursimran, the number of terrorists is something that has not been clear at this point. Either the way that they have been trapped in the area, this is something that is still not clear. How many exactly are there?
See, about the number of terrorists, it is not clear, keeping in because there hasn't been any accurate information with the security agencies. However, the first group that was fired, it was fired from 2 to 3 sides. So they are taking it that 2 to 3 terrorists are in the area, but that was something preliminary in nature. There hasn't been any information after that what has happened or how many terrorists have entered into the Indian territory. But yes, the forces are taking it that there are 3 to 4 terrorists present in the area, and that's why multi-layer cordon has been established in the area, even the area which is far from the encounter site, the area we are standing. Here also a multi-layer cordon has been established by the Special Operations Group of the Jammu and Kashmir Police. Indian Army is also deployed some 500 meters from this very area, and they are making it very sure that there is no threat to the civilian population, because just opposite to this side is the civilian population. I'll request Gaurav to show you the vehicles that have been stranded here. They are not allowed to move out. They are thoroughly checked by the security forces, and they have been asked to stop here for a while since there is no green signal from the security forces. Yes.
All right, Gursimran, we'll just come back to you in just a bit because we have to head into a short break. But this is an ongoing terror encounter that is taking place in Poonch. And unfortunately, we're looking at a situation where an army statement that has been released pointing out that at least 2 of our brave Jawans have been martyred in this terror attack. We continue to get us more details on this.